Hey everyone, Ben here, and for the very first time on the channel, we're in Le Mans Ultimate. We're in the GTE Fixed series at Bahrain International circuit, and somewhat surprisingly, I'm starting in P2. Now this is not my usual qualifying position. We're underway here, and you can see the pressure's already gotten to me. I've been jumped off the start. I was a little bit slow reacting to the lights there. We're already down into P3 as we're barreling down towards T1 for the first time. I've got another driver down my inside. I'm going to have to give space at the apex, but we get a big tag from behind, and already we're facing in the wrong direction. And what was looking like such a promising first race on the channel here has gone disastrously wrong. We're now right the way back down the field. Let's take another look at it then. We're in the Ferrari on the outside of the corner here. You can see it ends up being 3 wide, and I think that's in the end what causes the incident. I thought I'd given enough room on the inside. I thought I was clear as we were running towards the apex. Unfortunately, I wasn't, and I got tagged around from the right rear corner, and that has cost me big time. I could have left more space on the inside there. I did think I was clear, but unfortunately I'm going to pay a big price for not just being a little bit extra cautious around the outside of the corner there. But all is not lost. We're running in P14, and this is back on lap 1. We have caught the pack up straight away, and I do have solid underlying pace here compared to the rest of the field. So you never know, we may be able to make our way back up into the top 10 here as we come through the left-hander for the first time. Very tricky corner that. You want to carry as much speed as you can, but you don't want to drift out wide and get up on the curbing. Look at how busy the track is up ahead as we're approaching the final sector of this lap then. We've got Peugeot up ahead, just coming through the right-hander there. It looked as if I got a better line through the corner. Hopefully I'm going to have a better exit as well. I'm closing in on the Porsche up ahead here. Am I going to have enough in the tank just to get alongside in the big zone? I'm going to go for it. I'm in a hurry to make up for that incident in T1. He gives me plenty of space on the inside, and that is at least one place gained from what has been a very rough first lap of this race for me. We're through and up into P13. Back to the live action then on lap 2, and I've got Dex up ahead just half a second further up the road, and a huge gaggle of cars with some locking their brakes there into the left-hander. We've got another driver around, so that's going to be another position gained. Wow, it is fast and furious in this GTE Fixed series on Le Mans Ultimate. Now, these cars are not the most straightforward to just hop into as a rookie, and these are the beginner daily races on Le Mans Ultimate, so I'm not entirely surprised some drivers are struggling to keep the car facing the right way. You've got to be very, very careful on the brakes. They will lock relatively easily, and likewise on the gas you can spin the rear tyres and end up facing in the wrong direction without getting tagged in the right rear corner. But as we're about to start another lap then, my eyes are forward onto the rear wing of Dex, because we're heading into a big braking zone here down into T1. There's multiple cars heading in towards the exit. Dex has gone in far too deep there. We're going to emerge from the corner side by side. I'm on the outside here. I do give him room on the inside. Thankfully he doesn't drift wide, and that's another position gain. I'm up into P11 now, and hot on the heels of Sampo up ahead in P10. So a top 10 finish here is definitely on the cards if I can keep my nose clean, unlike the driver up ahead. That is Bremer. We're going to get past him too as he recovers from a spin, once again demonstrating how difficult other drivers in the field are finding these cars. Again onto the brakes. Look up ahead, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe even 5 drivers within the same bit of track there, and this is going to get really, really tight, really tricky, heading down into what is by far the most difficult corner on the circuit. Oh, and there's a big concertina effect. I get caught out by that. I do make contact with Sampo up ahead. That is regrettable. We may both pay a price there, both on safety rating, but hopefully not too much damage that affects the car's performances. Once again, we're onto the brakes and through this left-hander. I am on high alert for any drivers up ahead losing the car, because I'm going to have minimal time to react if they do. Thankfully, everybody's gotten through that section relatively cleanly. They are jostling and fighting for position all the way though, as we get onto the penultimate straight before the end of this third lap. We are closing in on Sampo. Am I going to be close enough to make a move into the final corner once again? Well, I'm not. He goes defensive, or maybe he was planning a move of his own. That's going to get me on the outside of the final corner. I keep the car together up on the curb, and unfortunately I haven't been able to make any moves there, and I've given Peugeot behind a little bit of encouragement. Look in the rear view mirror, he has come to the inside. He doesn't quite have an overlap, but I definitely can't block him off here. I'm going to have to just hope that I can be late on the brakes. He is now all the way down my inside. I'm going to take the wider line here and see if I can't hold the move, and yes I can. Look at that, he's gotten it wrong through the middle part of the corner, and that at least maintains my 10th position. But through that course of action, Sampo is up into P8. I've now got Tirano up ahead. There's a yellow flag out. I think that might be for something behind me, but honestly, in this race, it's impossible to tell. We're following this snake of cars then through the left-right section and looking up ahead again just to make sure nobody's making any mistakes. Very nearly get checked up on the brakes there as we're through the right-hander, and I'm going to be well within Tirano's slipstream here to try and make a move into the final corner once again. This has become my favourite overtaking spot on the lap here, and I'm going to be later on the brakes. We're side by side at the apex. He's giving me room on the inside, I'm giving him room on the outside, and we're able to power out of the corner and get up into P8. A nice move there, and I'm once again staring at the rear wing of Sampo up ahead and hoping that I might be able to gain more positions here in relatively short order. Into the braking zone then. Once again, we're going to have to take a slightly wider line, as I was just scared that I was going to run into the rear wing there of Sampo. We're through the corner, couldn't get a move done, but I'm nicely tucked underneath his rear wing here as we're approaching up the hill, the right hand, and again, very easy to lose the car through here. I'm not seriously entertaining a move there, I'm just flashing to the inside, see if I can't unsettle him in the cockpit. Unfortunately, he was cool as a cucumber through there. He wasn't buying the dummy whatsoever. We're slightly slower now through the right-hander. I'm hoping I can pick that speed back up through the next part of the corner and then just ease onto the brakes. It's single file through here. Not easy to make an overtake at all. Certainly not without jeopardizing your race and the race of the other driver involved. Another yellow flag flashing up. Gotta be on high alert in case it's through this corner. Thankfully it isn't, and we're all able to get through the left-hander safe and sound and try and carry as much speed as possible onto this straightaway before we get into the final sector of the lap. Just a brief note on the handling, physics, force feedback in Le Mans Ultimate. Now these are early days for me in the sim, but I've got to say I've been impressed so far. You really can feel a sense of weight in these cars. The handling feels very, very intuitive and very alive. I'm really enjoying that, but what I'm not enjoying is seeing the Ferrari there off to the left hand side. That's Viro, and he's had a big moment there. That's allowed Sampo to get past him. It's going to allow me to get down his inside, hopefully into the final quarter of the lap, so maybe I can turn his misfortune into my benefit. We're on the brakes, we're down the inside, and it looks as if I'm going to get another move done into the final corner, but then Sampo gets it all wrong. There's a big smash, and unfortunately I am once again facing in the wrong direction, back down into P10. Thankfully I had a bit of a gap to the cars behind, but what on earth happened there? Well, let's take another look at it on the replay. You can see I was going to be clean and past the Ferrari driver up ahead. I just had more momentum coming out of the corner after his mistake, but unfortunately for me, Sampo had a big issue coming out of the final corner here. He gets out wide, but he keeps his foot in. That's enough to light up the tyres and career into me. Now, this is his on board, and as it would happen, hitting me, then hitting another driver, ends up pointing him in the right direction. But surely he's carrying big damage, even if it didn't end up costing him a huge amount of time on track. Well, let's find out, because we've moved ahead onto lap 8. I didn't give this race up and I've been able to close the distance, and I'm approaching striking distance of Sampo up ahead. And if he is carrying more damage than I am, let's remember we were both impacted by that collision, then I might well have a chance of getting past here. I can tell you that my car is not handling well. All of that nuance and subtlety in the handling model with damage is coming back to haunt me. I've got wheel damage, I'm having to adjust my steering through every single corner, the grip is reduced, but I am closing in on the driver up ahead there, just making small corrections through the corner. I don't think I'm going to be close enough into the final corner, but if I can prioritise a good exit onto the start-finish straight, then I may well be able to get up one further position at least in this race. He locks up then up ahead. That's going to give me even more encouragement as we get onto the start finish straight here, and I'm going to be tucked nicely underneath his rear wing. I'm going to peel to the inside nice and early, hope that I've got enough to drag out down the straight here in order to get alongside into the braking zone, and then just try and keep it nice and tidy into the apex. We're side by side then into the braking zone. I keep it nice and hooked up. He's going to be slower on the exit of the corner, and that is the position gained. Oh, and there's going to be another one. Driver returning to the track from the left hand side there. There is not a moment to breathe in this race, and we're on to the final lap then. Quite surprisingly, I've also been able to catch up to Vero, who is one of the other drivers that we were pressing for a move on when it all went wrong earlier in the race. But I've only got a handful of corners left to try and execute a pass here. It's going to be incredibly difficult. I'm going to be relying, I think, on him making a mistake at this point, and he very nearly does there. A very small lockup into the penultimate corner of the lap. Is that going to give me enough to try and execute my favourite overtaking move into the final corner? I say it's my favourite overtaking move. In the end, it did come back to bite me, but nevertheless, I'm shaping to the inside there, just hoping to put him off, put him under pressure. Instead, I have to go for a wider entry and try and get a better exit out of the corner, and I have done. It's a drag race to the finish line here. Is it going to be enough? Oh, I don't think it is. We're going to have to settle for P8, and well, wow, what a finish that was, and what a first race to bring to the channel. I've got to say, I have very much enjoyed getting to grips with the handling, the physics, the force feedback in Le Mans Ultimate. If you'd like to see more Le Mans Ultimate on the channel, be sure to leave a like, get in the comments, let me know, and I will see you on the next one.